Welcome to your timeless pool of thought reading, where I take a question and we use tarot to garner more insights about the question itself. The question for this reading will be, why can a master still be wrong? Why can a master still be wrong? Realize that the question is not how a master can be wrong, but why can a master be wrong? Well, first, let's try to figure out if we can get a better sense of understanding what a master is. For those who are somewhat privy with the esoteric world and may understand that in the holistic practice of things, there are mentors who are said to be masters, more so than anyone else, because of their experiences and their wisdom to share their experiences to those who may desire a warning, some cautionary methods, some guidance, insights about the topic that the person may be a master of. There also could be a Reiki practitioner who has worked with another master who has attuned themselves to the different hierarchies that vibration offers itself to be able to work with manipulating the energy safely, that they are then the masters of one, getting that honor of having been attuned from another master to be a master, and then also have acquired the blessing over tradition to be able to offer other students the same sort of attunement to become a master. So it's almost kind of like saying, if you check off all these boxes, you're then a master. So it's kind of then saying and implying that if anyone checks off certain amount of boxes for this category, well then most likely than not, maybe you could be considered a master because you checked up all those boxes. It's kind of almost the same thing as some people, I think the saying goes, putting 10,000 working hours into something means that you're going to become a master of it. And again, it's to say that if you are in the aim of a certain subject, there are certain amounts of patterns that you will allot yourself to, called time, space, experience. And once you experience those in those allotted time and space, well then you've hit the checkpoint. Congratulations, you're closer to being more knowledgeable in that subject. And if you reach the suggested checking off of all these boxes, well then we're going to deem you a master of having checked off all those boxes because you made it through every checkpoint. Congratulations. It becomes almost silly to say that, a lot of that it becomes silly on this perspective over here from where I stand to say, yep, I am a master healer. It's silly. Do I have the credentials? Well, sure, yeah. Whatever it means for me to say that I'm a master should be good enough. But yes, I have credentials. I have the certificate from my master, who happens to be the 13th generational master after Usui Ryoho's traditional Reiki mastership. Being one of her masters means that I am part of the 13th generational timeline of genealogy, let's put it that way, of keeping that tradition of Master Usui's tradition alive. However, I had at one point questioned if I am getting the teachings of someone who's the 13th generational master of Usui's teaching, then could another master be deemed a master and not be of Usui's chronological orders of attaining the mastership. I didn't want to go that far. I didn't want to become that picky into needing reassurance that, wait a minute, all of a sudden after a certain amount of times I'm master because I have been attuned to knowing the symbolisms, knowing what I can do with these symbolisms, and being able to teach it to others. Yes, I want that. I want that credit. I wanted my hands that dirty. I wanted to get involved. So I made sure that I know as much as I possibly can to be then deemed that. And I'm very proud to say that, yes, I am a master healer. However, it took me, that consciousness of self-approval or not, took me in a whole nother fucking paradigm of a conscious break. And the universe has gifted me my version of healing that I'm making available for earth vibrations and those who are walking amongst it. And it has classified me as a master of my own teachings at the proof of no one besides me and my higher selves. And to me, that's a very interesting lens of mastership to look at. Because it generally comes from a person's self-perspective of how much they believe that they're a master of something. Someone can put Google searches in every single fucking day and they think they're a master of research. In their version, they probably are, more so compared to anyone else in their niche of a social circle, because maybe not everyone else is actually spending so much time researching what this person is researching. So yeah, in a way, you are a master of whatever it is that you're doing. Congratulations. Am I sounding a little bit too petty? And I think that has something to do with the fact that, well, labels are offering themselves just as that. I know that in the light of the experiences I've gone to, I don't necessarily give a shit about saying that I'm a master healer and leaving it and having it leave a good taste or a bad taste in someone else's mouth. For that, I'm not telling anyone that I'm a master healer. I'm too busy trying to make the inner dialogue make sense with the external dialogue. So I will, yes, pay attention to the labels that I say or the labels that I use in order to define myself or give myself the space that I need in order to live out my authenticity. However, some people already have a hard time when somebody wants to change their name. Why? If I feel that I want to change my name and I am able to, can't I just do that? Am I not a master of myself to be able to give myself these choices and to play with the choices that I want to choose? Whether it be good for me or not, or leave a bad taste in your mouth or not? What is the threshold to the silver lining of knowing that we shouldn't fear each other's sense of curiosity? Maybe it should be just subtle respect. Maybe you don't have to jive with the fact that I claim myself to be a self-healed master and also a master of Reiki. I'm not here to convince anyone, just as much as you're not trying to sit here in the audience of the video and feel convinced by anything. For that, it is also very general, and too general at that. Yet, shouldn't we also give ourselves some room to have a playing foundation that we could be a master of our own being? That every breath that you're taking, whether you're taking a conscious breath or not, is upkeeping the mastership of your own vessel alive. You may not have mastered that, but are you not your own version, in one way, your own master? Because of the simple fact that everything and everyone wants to tell you and remind you that you're the most unique as they come because there is no other than you? These are all the reasons as to why a master can be wrong. Because a master will only be concerned with what it is that they're astute about. That's all that they can pay attention to and also give their time and attention for and on. That's where their ability to consider work becomes play, and to show up for it is the fun of it all, is the adventure. To have a student come across the master's path and be like, oh wow, you really were interested in the things that I wanted to share? That's amazing. Oh, master, thank you. Oh, no. I don't want a thank you. I'm here to deliver a message, as the message can be a handsome surprise or handsome good deed for you. And if in some reason my mastery of what it is that I want to explain to you may not be understood by you or leave a bad taste in your mouth, well, that should be okay too. Masters can be wrong because they have ideologies that they also have to filter through for the external world to make sense, or to also be accepted by the external world. Every master has a sense of vulnerability within themselves that makes us human to each other, that makes us fragile to needing a sense of air and breath, and fragile whether or not it takes faith and sacrifice to show up in order to take risks. Every master bleeds blood, one's cut in one way or another. That's how they can be wrong. Is that everyone is imperfect, and within their imperfections, they are thus perfect in their own wisdom of acknowledgement of their experiences. It's to lose out on that humbleness which brings chaos to feeling immature. But once you accrue isolated time and give yourself the blessing to find maturity in the isolation, or being hungry to do so, allows you to get out of a situation that is uncomfortable. Even if it's uncomfortable for the master to say, yes, you better respect me because I am a master. And I don't need to explain to you how I have been given the title of master. But if I get to say these words out of my tongue and reap no rewards of consequence, well, then am I not a master? If I lead forward in life with no echelons of chaos around me, and I am saying I'm a master, am I not then a master? Because I don't provoke energy for it to be tumultuous and chaotic around me? If anything, I attract the light of all lights because they all want a piece of me. And so all around me is peace to be found because all of them have the light of my peace that I have and try my best to maintain within me to control. Am I not the master of my own being? A master can be wrong because they can have overactive energy. The overactive energy is their passion to want to make sure that everything that they know, and I mean everything that they know, gets exposure time. And that exposure time better be of worthiness for someone, because damn it, well then I've just wasted my time. How can I make myself so clear and passionate? How can I endows myself for other people to get to tap into that same sense of euphoria? How can I make someone believe in the inevitable, considering it was really hard for me to believe in inevitable, but it wasn't impossible because I made it fucking through. I'm here. I'm the master of my own being. I'm the master of my own flesh. I'm not always right because every time someone has a question, I don't know the answers all the damn time. I'm not always a master because sometimes I'm not always in the mood to offer out the things that someone says I should have an answer to. I'm not always available because I have to be available to those that I've already made myself available to. I don't know every topic, but I know the topics of all the interests that I have that I sought to be important for me, myself, and I to be inquisitive of. Am I not my own master? A master can be wrong when you, the student in front of this master, don't resonate with anything that that master has to say, because that proves that master is not a master of you, it's a master of another. Maybe you're not supposed to be on the student aspect of master. Maybe you're supposed to be a master of something else. Then the question is, can there be two of the same type of masters? Why not? It's like saying, a little glitch there. It's like saying, though, that you can't be held accountable for your own personal interests and then be forced to have a level of respect towards it. Does that make sense? Master isn't here to be right and say, oh, thank God, because you now saw it exactly the way I saw it. You accept me. Or I accept that you accept me or see me. It's more so to trigger a thinking or trigger a non-thinking mind. Because to even question whether a master is a master, well, that's the ticket. That is the ticket. The only way to figure out if a master is a master is to ask the master questions. And then you will see how the answers that the master have will not always appease to your satisfaction. Already answering the question of how a master can be wrong. But in a world not giving a shit whether it's right or wrong, we want to appreciate how someone has given themselves the ability to call themselves master. And to look at that and see, why are we so intrigued with that person having gained so much confidence within themselves and that of which they think they come from and where they're chosen to roam around and get their intelligence from? What makes them humanitarian in that of which it is that they know? What makes them appreciate the shadows of other people not being at a master and shedding light upon thee? Because that's not how a master will ever be wrong. But a master will be wrong for any eyes that are too busy trying to ask the master for personalized questions that have nothing to do with the topic at hand, is what makes the master a master. A master knows that he or it is just a conduit that is experienced, most likely not, the cycles of life over echelons of the vibrations of time and space. And the most important thing for this master is to be the messenger. Because the most important thing for this conduit of an energy source is to understand that there is a beginning and an end, but there is an eternity happening simultaneously, to not be so focused about where the beginning begins and where the end ends. For that, we must allow Earth vibration to take forth in the galactic light of knowing in the way it wants to, by showcasing itself in the degrees how death can come and completely obliterate something that once we knew of, and then feel left with the disintegration of what death has left behind. But it does leave behind something, and what it leaves behind is an essence that makes that what has passed on still alive. And a master embraces that, not necessarily in the notions of just life and death, but in the notion that a master is a mere title. Just like having gone to school and graduated with a master's or a PhD is just now adding on to your title. But who you are through and through, in and out, as within, as about, as without, for thyself and for others, is the true makeup of where you will be judged. That's where you are too busy judging yourself, and maybe you trying to capitulate and understanding if there's another being around us in control of thy judgment for us. In that void, we're left to swim inevitably. And the inevitable changes that comes without us even being any form of any kind of control and being able to handle them. But for those who practice inner ingenuities, can have a better inkling of what may unfold. And once they have a better understanding of what may unfold, they can change the trajectory of what will happen based on the decisions they make themselves available, called choices. Choices sway the overall running opinion. A master's purpose is to take two variables and find a way for them to compromise with each other, even if those two variables are of opposing forces, to bring as much harmony in within chaos. That's the goal of the master. And the humbleness comes forth with the master to allow us to see, well, maybe you are a master, is when they don't care for judgments. But they don't care about constructive criticism because they're too busy being who they need to be. And as they are who they are, they have echelons of a people that will hear the message of thy master, unspoken or spoken, because the energy of knowing is too loud to ignore. Too loud to ignore. Showing that there will always be proof in the pudding. And once the master shows up with having proof in the pudding of experiences, of pain, of recognition, of resistance and resiliency coming forth in that which and how they speak, well, then maybe they show us the act of finiting the conditions of unconditionally loving ourselves and not being so hung up on the titles that makes us then click on the channel of whether or not we're interested in listening to them or not. People say don't judge a book by its cover, but people will forever judge a book by its cover, figuring out whether or not they want to read the book or not. All right, I'm being told to leave it here. I ask that you consider subscribing to both of my channels. I have various types of content spread out on both to not overfeed the feed and to keep it somewhat organized. All right, if you're interested in booking a reading, a consultation, or how to get Reiki sessions or my sessions from wherever you are, don't hesitate to reach out. Again, the information can be found in the description box below. I'm wishing you a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are in the ether of this time and space, and may you keep flowing, growing, and glowing. Take care.